So there are three cover crops. There is hairy vetch, cereal rye, and crimson clover. And then there's a control plot that is weedy, and then that one gets conventional tillage. And then there's three directions of rolling the cover crop. Rolling it parallel to the way that the cover crop was planted, it perpendicular and diagonal. So three different directions of rolling. The two cash crops here, it is hemp, fiber hemp, and corn. In Pocono, it's fiber hemp and soybean.
So it's the effect of the cover crop on the cash crop.
On the cash crop, exactly. And so we're looking at the different directions. We're looking at the different cover crops. So we do weed pressure collections, looking at the weeds. We do the soil physical measures, soil chemical measures. But mainly the whole point of no tillage is to kind of maintain the biological community and the physical structure of your soil. The whole point of tillage, right, and the reason it gets used so heavily in organic is because we can't use chemicals to kill weeds, so the tillage kills weeds. So if we can keep this healthy living mulch and keep it going, like it's going to take a few years to get there, but if you can kind of keep it no-till for a few years, you will eventually start to kind of reduce the weeds. So hopefully, you can see it's really weedy right now, hopefully next year it'll look better, and hopefully the year after that it'll look better, and hopefully the year after that it'll look better.
What's important for us to know about hemp as a plant and as a crop in the United States? Is there anything that we should definitely know about that?
Well, one thing is just that it used to be really common to grow it in our area. Like historically, it was really, really common to have hemp in Pennsylvania. Like at one point in United States history, it was legally required for farmers to grow hemp because it was used so widely. Like it was really common to grow it in Lancaster because they would grow a bunch of it and they would provide that to the ship industry for all their sails, all of their ropes. So it used to be a really important crop, and I think that history is important for people to understand for destigmatizing the crop. So it's not just like people think of hemp and they immediately associate it with marijuana, but they're very different plants. And the plant has been growing in our area for a really long time. And I think it has a lot of really interesting and important like modern applications. Like you can make a lot of different products out of it. And it does have benefits in an organic system for suppressing weeds. So I think my main interest in it is like looking at it as a tool for organic farmers rather than just as a product. Like, is this something that farmers can grow to add like organic matter to their soil? Like it has a decently extensive root system. It puts carbon back into the soil. When you grow a really thick stand, it can suppress weeds. And then that means you don't need to till as much if you have fewer weeds, which is also good for your soil health. So I encourage people to think of it as a tool, as a part of a larger organic or a part of a larger agricultural system, rather than just as one plant in and of itself. Like if you have like a stand like this where things might be struggling to get established a little bit, the hemp on the edges is maybe going to be a little bit shorter than the hemp in the center. Like if it's planted thicker together, it's not going to branch out. But if there's like one plant in the middle of the plot that doesn't have anything around it, it's going to branch out, it's going to get really thick. So even if it's the same variety, just the environmental, like if we don't have a good way to plant it, the physiology, I don't know if that's the right word, of the plant is going to be different. All the hemp in this project is only one variety. It's Xanthica 70. So I think it's technically supposed to be a fiber variety.
Yeah.
This experiment is looking, it's not so much focused on hemp as a crop. It's more focused on using the roller crimper effectively to suppress weeds. So there were 3 different cover crops in these experimental plots before the crops that you see right now. So these would have been vetch. Some of them would have, like, it looks like that's rye over there. And then there would have been clover in some of the plots.
Okay.
And so, I don't know if you guys heard this speech already, but like, all the cover crops were planted in one direction. Actually, I think they were planted in that direction. And when they used the roller crimper to crush the cover crops, so you have to terminate, you have to like kill the cover crops before you can put like your hemp or your sweet corn into the field.
Yeah.
And so when they used the roller crimper to terminate everything, they would either drive parallel to the planting direction, they might drive perpendicular to it, or they went diagonal. And so like if you imagine if you have rye plants that are standing like this and you roller crimp them down like in the same direction as planting, they would just fall like this, and there might be a little bit of a space between the different rye rows. But if you're roller crimping everything like this, all the plants are laying on top of each other. So you're going to get like a more thick mat. I don't know what diagonal would do, kind of some combination between the two. But we're trying to see, part of the issue is like, you terminate your cover crops, and then you want to see like which method of termination is going to suppress the weeds the best. But then it's also a matter of getting your next crop established. Like you'll see in a lot of the rye plots, our cover crop was so thick we had trouble getting hemp established. So it's a little bit of a trade-off, right? Like if you have a really thick cover crop, it's going to be really good at suppressing the weeds. But then if your planter is struggling with the amount of cover crop or the direction of the cover crop, like if it's having trouble cutting through because you rolled everything like perpendicular, then that's going to create issues too. So what are we able to plant into, and what is going to control the weeds the best?